Hey everybody, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out 6 forgotten war games to pick up in 2024. This is of course a sequel to last week's video, Top 8 Forgotten War Games, and I wanted to do a part 2 so we can continue on with this awesome theme. If you're interested in that last video and also the 12 upcoming war games that proved super popular on the channel, I'll make sure to link them both in the description below. I have many incredible war games in my arsenal, and I also included a few suggestions from the comments of the last video. Those suggestions just happen to be games that I've played a lot of and I would highly recommend anyway, so always comment below. I love reading what you're playing and what you like to play. We're going to keep this list lean and mean with no honourable mentions today. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're growing super fast and we really appreciate it. Me and Tom are just really enjoying the journey at the moment, so come along and enjoy it with us. Alright then, wargamers assemble, let's jump in. And kicking off today's list is Naval Hurricane, a turn-based tactical game about war at sea between the British Royal Navy and Imperial German Navy during World War I. One of the really strong appeals about this game is the World War I subject matter. I got very into Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts and I really love those type of battleships, and of course many war games focus on the Second World War, so it was very refreshing to see a naval title primarily focused on this era. You will get to command powerful dreadnoughts, fast destroyers and stealthy submarines, conduct artillery battles, torpedo attacks, and fight for the survivability of damaged ships. Now this game has been in early access since the 16th of November 2022, and originally I covered it in a first impression style video. I was impressed with the title at the time, and it would seem that the developer has continued updating this, with the last update coming on March 18th, 2024. Progress has been slow, but this is a one-man studio and I think we need to take the cost into account. It only costs at full price €8.19. So if you're willing to join a long-term adventure into the early access war game, I think this could be for you. However, if you're one of those people who hates early access, then you might want to stay away. As a gamer who's focused on the long term, I don't mind waiting around for these sort of one-person projects. I mean, this isn't Microsoft or Electronic Arts, this is a small one-man team who's basically doing this as a hobby, so I really think that you need to have some patience if you want to get on board. As they say, variety is the spice of life, and I like to offer you a lot of different options with these lists. And if you're down for some turn-based World War I naval battles, then definitely check out Naval Hurricane. Coming up next, we have the Operational Art of War 4. Now on this channel, we like to challenge you with some hardcore hex-based war games, and the Operational Art of War certainly reaches that bar. With more flexibility than before and a new array of exciting features, it will make you relive the most iconic battles from the dawn of the 20th century to modern day. And if that's not enough for you, there are a number of what-if scenarios that never actually occurred. This game is absolutely massive, with over 200 scenarios like the Battle of Marne, the En Ben Phu, the Battle of Arnhem, the Falkland Invasion, and lots more. And in this version of the Operational Art of War, there are new naval warfare features and a brand new supply system. If we are going to pick any holes in this title, the presentation is very outdated, but look, if you're a wargamer, you're probably not going to care about that. However, if you're a wargamer who likes his graphics, I've got you covered later on in the list. I mean, just don't ask me in the comments if this game is coming to PlayStation 5, like so many did on the upcoming War Games list. I'll be honest, given the presentation, it's more likely to come to your calculator than PlayStation 5. If you can get past the presentation problems, this is a wonderfully deep game, and it's brought to you by Slitherine and rated mostly positive on Steam with a 78% rating. From one Slitherine title to the next with Battle of the Bulge. Now this game is a total polar opposite to the Operational Art of War. It's a fast-paced World War II game where precise movement and detailed planning make the difference between a vain attempt and a brave operation. You will command infantry, mechanized and armoured units in hard fights through the various phases of the offensive, taking into account the nature of the terrain and its effects on the assailants and defenders. This game is simple and fast, but also an incredible amount of fun. It's one of those war games that I picked up one weekend and lost a few days to, and I played it heavily on my Steam Deck. If you're looking for a challenge, there are different AI historical commanders that you can take on, and each one has a unique playstyle. Overall, I have to say it's a very entertaining title, and if you're looking for a sequel, they actually did one called Drive on Moscow, but Luke, maybe save that for a future list. It's a great title for when you're on the go, as it works perfectly on Steam Deck. It's pretty cheap at €9.75 at full price, and it's rated mostly positive on Steam with a 72% rating. You wanted that more graphical title on the list, well here it is, Total Conflict Resistance. With realistic mass battles, many types of armoured vehicles, weapons, uniforms, unique mechanics and immersive gameplay, you're able to lead any state within the game and bring it to greatness. This game reminds me of Mount & Blade, but with modern weapons. The game remains in early access, but they have been doing regular updates and that is encouraging. But with this particular title, you're really getting a wargame on the other end of the spectrum. It's a first-person shooter in the middle of a huge conflict or battle. There are tanks, armor, explosions, everything's going off, it's full of action. Not like the hex-based wargames on the list, which take a little bit more time to get into, but ultimately I find them more immersive overall. However, if you're not in the mood for that sort of title, then this game is the perfect antidote. And on this sort of list, I think it's good to present you options at each end of the spectrum. If you're interested in the look of this title, it's rated very positive on Steam, with an overall 80% rating, and is playable on the Steam Deck. Coming up next, we have SGS Korean War. This series of games is very close to my heart, as when I made the channel I didn't know about them, and as I went on my journey of discovery through all the different games that we've covered, I came across this series. I was always looking for an accessible board game style war game that had a great UI and ran smoothly. And with the SGS titles, I finally found them and have reviewed many of them on the channel and still play them to this day. In fact, there are 3 new titles coming up this year, and I'm going to do a dedicated video for those in the next few weeks. The Korean War was of course the first intense conflict of the Cold War, and it's very often forgotten. This game recreates it in great detail. If you're interested in history or learning about a conflict that you didn't know about, then the SGS games are always great. The unit cards are particularly beautiful and I love the artwork. The music is always awesome in these games and really brings you into the era and conflict. It's rated very positive on Steam with an overall 84% rating and is playable also on the Steam Deck. And I will say, I think the Korean War version of the SGS games is one of my favourite overall. And finally, we come to the end of the list with Steel Armor Blaze of War. This is a game I played extensively a few years ago and someone recommended it in the comments of the last video. I think it was a great shout out and it reminded me of what a stellar game this can be. Steel Armor Blaze of War is a realistic tank simulator with tactical elements. The game models the Soviet T-62 and the US M60A1 tank in detail. Each tank has an interactive cockpit with crew. The player controls a tank and commands a tank platoon and attached forces in 4 large-scale dynamic campaigns. The user interface in this title does fight against you, but if you're willing to put in the time, it's extremely rewarding. Once I learned to control my tank, the game then opened up as I commanded all of the attached units around me. The immersion level is off the scale, and I don't really know many other experiences that replicate what this game can do. This title moves beyond the boundaries of wargaming and goes into the area of full-blown simulation. Like I said, it's a bit of an older title with a dodgy user interface, but if you can see past that, this is well worth your money. If you do put the time into this and learn it and get the fun that can be brought out of this title, then there is also extra content in Steel Armor Basra 86. It's brought to us by Graviteam, it's rated very positive on Steam, and overall, it's just a great forgotten title. So there we go, LT Gamers, we wrap up another awesome wargames list on the channel. There are so many recommendations across all of our videos that you definitely have to check out, so make sure to do that, jump into our playlists, like and comment any games that you would like me to include in future lists. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, you're very welcome. Right everyone, have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. As always, I've been Luke, and I'll catch you on the next one.